Hey everybody, Tekking101 here with a little bit of a different kind of video for you guys today. This is going to be a tutorial video on how to make your own Greed Island cards from the Hunter x Hunter manga series. Yes, that's right. As I'm sure a lot of people have already heard, Hunter x Hunter is coming off of hiatus this month for like the 4th time. It's going to resume its serialization and Jump on June 26th, so I know you guys are really excited for that. I'm extremely excited for that because I'm really into Hunter x Hunter right now. I'm almost all caught up with the manga, so I thought this would be a cool little side project to work on. Making these Greed Island cards, and this is what this video is going to be today. I'm just going to go on a step-by-step process on how to make these. It's actually really simple. It's not going to cost a lot of money to do it, and there might even be ways that are easier than this. This is just the method through trial and error that I found was, easiest for myself. But first, let's go over the materials that you're going to need in order to make your own Greed Island cards. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is some cardstock paper. Now, this stuff is pretty easy to find. I bought all of this stuff at Walmart, so no worries about trying to find it. You can see that it's indexed at 110. That's the weight of the paper. In contrast to that, normal printer paper is only indexed at around 20, so it's about 5 times thicker than normal printer paper. I guess, in theory, you could use regular printer paper for this, but I would really recommend against that because the ink would bleed through a lot more, especially when you're printing very detailed things like trading cards. You want something that can actually hold the ink. So that's the first thing you're going to need. Next is some glue sticks. Now these are Elmer's glue sticks that I got. I got a 2-pack for these also for about maybe $4, $5. Now they're really cool because they're repositional. So they don't seal right away whenever you apply it to a surface, which means that you have time to like lay out the card and make sure it's positioned the right way. So that's why I really like these glue sticks. You're also going to need some scissors, which I don't know where the hell you're going to find those. They're a very rare commodity somewhere in the world. I had to take down a giant ogre in order to get mine, so good luck with that shit. Also, you're going to need some packing tape. There's a bunch of different brands of that, so just standard packing tape there that you would use to mail stuff. Also, the thing that you're going to need, and this could change depending on your circumstances, but when I was making these Greed Island cards, I really wanted them to have the same feel as Yu-Gi-Oh cards and the same kind of dimensions, because that's what I'm used to handling. So you're actually going to need some Yu-Gi-Oh cards or something equivalent to that to actually put the cardstock paper on. You're actually going to glue the front and the back of the Greed Island card to the front and the back of this Yu-Gi-Oh card, and then you're going to tape it up, and that's how you're going to get your Greed Island card here. They're about the same dimensions as a Yu-Gi-Oh card. However, if you don't have a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, or if you don't, really want them to be that kind of dimension or that kind of feel, any other trading card would work for this, Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering cards, or if you're saying to yourself, hey Matt, I don't want to ruin my trading card collection in order to just make these fictional cards that really you can't play any games with, really, you could always just go to the dollar store and pick up like a $1 pack of playing cards. I mean, this is Hunter x Hunter after all, so go Hisoka up in this bitch. But that would probably work too. Just something that you can have like a base to actually glue the cards to, so it maintains its durability a little bit there, the same way that a regular trading card would. Also, you're going to need some printer ink. A lot of printer ink. I am not underestimating the sheer amount. Well, it all depends on how many cards you want to make. Like, if you're trying to make, like, an entire set of cards like I am, I'm trying to get at least all the 100 restricted card slots and a few of the spells, it's going to cost you a lot of money on printer ink to go and back and forth, because I bought whole new cartridges when I started this project, and after only printing out maybe, like, 20 or 30 cards, this color ink was already tapped out. I had to go and buy, a freaking expansion pack for ink here. So, yeah, if you're planning on making a shit ton of Greed Island cards, get ready to spend a lot of money on printer ink, but if you're only making just a few to have, like, oh, I have a few Greed Island cards for my collection, then you'll be fine. You probably could just buy, like, a single cartridge. It won't cost that much money. You're also going to need a Photoshop software for this. Nothing too complicated. I mean, I use GIMP 2.0 mostly, which is a really old software. You can get it for free with a simple Google search. I've been using that software, GIMP 2.0, for probably close to a decade, though. So you might want to get a more, current version of that. I use Adobe Photoshop, too, but this is something that you really don't need a lot of really complicated stuff or tools to do. Anything probably a little bit more advanced than Microsoft Paint would do you just right here. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, or you could just go to Google and get the free copy of GIMP 2.0. Okay, so step one is you're going to want to get your hands on the front of the Greed Island card that you want to create. None of this would be possible, though, if it wasn't for a guy named Daedalus.net. He's the guy that actually took it upon himself to make high-quality images of a lot of the Greed Island cards. A good chunk of them, too, including all 100 of the restricted card slots. He has a DeviantArt page. I'm going to link that below. He made these cards and then uploaded them to the Wiki, which is where you're going to be getting them from. So you should really give him a shout-out. You should really go and thank him for the one that really spent all this time time to recreate all these the Greed Island cards and make the templates for these things. Really was a big help. So thank you very much, Daedalus-san. There's a few of them that are less than good quality, but you could still do something with that to create your card. Just give me a second on that. But for the most part, if you're just trying to make the restricted card slots, those ones will all be really good high quality. So what you're going to want to do is just download that image onto your computer to be used in the later steps. Now, let's say you want to create a card that doesn't have great quality. You can't really see it all that well, or it's really pixelated. You could still create the card as long as you have a decent quality image of the card artwork. That's all that matters, is that little picture there. Everything else can be recreated very easily. I created a few of these card templates. Templates that you can use to create your own Greed Island cards. All you got to do is take the image of the card you want and put it in there. There was even one that I found on the wiki itself that was yellow for like the monster card and stuff like that. So as long as you have card artwork, you can just copy and paste that into the template and it should still work just fine. You're just going to have to fill everything out. But the easiest cards to make by far are the ones in the restricted card slots, because these ones are already good and high quality. All you need to do is change out the title and the description if you actually want to translate it out, but everything else is pretty good. You don't have to change anything else. So yeah, just download whatever card you want to do, and we can move on to step 2. So now you're going to want to get the back of the Greed Island card. This is also very simple. I found this with a simple Google search, so you can just go ahead and do it like that. I also put a link to my Google Drive below where you can go and get the templates as well as the back of the Greed Island cards. One thing that was different was that the back of the Greed Island cards in the anime, it's like a dark blue with black arrows, and I felt like when I printed those out, you couldn't really distinguish the black arrows too much from the dark blue background, so I went ahead and colored it in so that the arrows were actually light green. I think so, it looks a lot better in my opinion, so if you want that specific back, that's on my Google Drive, or if you just want the standard dark blue on black cards that you get to see in the anime, you can go to Google. Okay, so step 3 is going to be the editing phase. So open up your Photoshop software, whatever you have on standby. Of course, I have GIMP. That's a stupid name for Photoshop editing software, but whatever, it works, and that's all I care about. Now, if you're only interested in the card the way it is right now, as in with its original Japanese text, you don't have to worry. You can kind of just skip this step if you just want to keep the cards the way they are in the anime. But if you're like me, I wanted to actually read the cards, because, you know, I can't read Japanese, or maybe you speak another language, or if you want it written in another language in your native tongue, whatever. This is the process where you'll actually get rid of the Japanese and swap in whatever text you want to put in there. So what you're going to want to do is take your ink dabber tool, and you're going to want to get a sample of the color behind the card in the title slot there. Then you're going to want to open up your paintbrush tool, use that color to blot out the text. You can see that it doesn't look quite really presentable there, that's kind of blotchy, so you can just use the paint bucket tool to fill in that entire square there. I also choose to use the paint bucket tool to fill in the adjacent boxes just for the sake of consistency. And now you're just going to want to replace the name of the card. You could use whatever font tickles your fancy. I use sans bold, which is fairly boring, but I feel since we're making trading cards here, you should value readability over having like a really fancy or unique font. You know, I should be able to read it, so I use sans bold for the name of the card. Next, you have to change the description of the card text. Same method as before. Just use the paint dabber tool, get a sample of the description box, blot out the text, and then paint bucket tool, fill it up. You can find translations of all of the card text on Hunter x Hunter Wiki, so thanks you guys again. You can just copy and paste that in there. And as for the text on the card description, once again, I just choose to use sans, something basic, but it's very easy for me to read. And then you just got to make sure the text is lined up the way that you want it to be there, and after that, you're good. You don't have to change any other text on the card if you're using a really good high-quality image. Okay, but now if you're using a card that has a lower quality image, you're going to have to use the templates for that. So let's say you're using this spell card called Shot. The quality is a little bit too low for me to actually just change the text as it is. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to crop out the artwork of the card itself, copy that, open up a template, and then paste the artwork in there. You're going to have to rearrange it so that it fits into the box, but it still looks rather presentable. But now, instead of just adding in the name and the description of the card, you're also going to have to add in the card's number and its rank. The font that I found works great for this is Century Schoolbook. It's a common font that's preloaded in pretty much most PCs, so you can just look that up, Century Schoolbook, and then you can add in the number of the card as well as the rank, and then use whatever font you want for the name of the card and the description, and you'll still have a rather good, you know, presentable card, even though the quality of the artwork was a little bit lower. Okay, so now on to step 4, which is the printing process. Now, as I said, I used a Yu-Gi-Oh card as the basis for these cards in terms of the dimensions. The dimensions of a Yu-Gi-Oh card are 60.5 by 87.5, I believe. I made that a little bit bigger to 62.5 by 89.5, just so that it gives you a little bit of leeway when you're cutting them out of the paper. You know, if you're planning on, like me, to make an entire set of Greed Island cards, you're gonna mess up at some point. You're gonna maybe cut a little bit, you know, further, make the card a little smaller than it's supposed to be, so it's nice to have a little bit of leeway, so it's not the exact same size as a Yu-Gi-Oh card, but you could use whatever dimensions you think work for you, however big you want your cards to be. But the way I print them out is, yeah, by like 64.5 by 89.5 millimeters. You print them out here. You know, you got the front of the card, Paladin's Necklace, we're just going to be using it as an example here, and then the back of the card here, same dimensions, of course. Now comes the process where you just cut these out. I don't know why we're filming still. This is a pretty boring process. Just because it's a tutorial video doesn't mean I have to show every last step. I think you guys know how to cut a shape out of a piece of paper. That's the kind of shit you learn in, like, kindergarten. I don't know. Although I will say, I did try a bunch of methods on this. I did try using an X-Acto knife, which it did work, but the edges were a little bit more frayed. So, yeah, I think regular scissors are just the way to go. I think simplicity at this point is the best way to go about it here. Oh, you also want to make sure to round the edges. I mean, the edges of the card are already, like, printed out to be a little round. You know, but yeah, you don't want really sharp edges. You don't want them to take an eye out. I mean, come on now, that's ridiculous. And see, I accidentally cut a little bit of that edge of that card off. See, there's a little bit of black there I accidentally cut off. So that's good though. That's okay. It's gonna happen a lot. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes if you're trying to get a full set of these. Okay, bam, we got those cards. Okay, now moving on to step number 5, or was it 6? Whatever. This is when we're gonna use our glue sticks. So take the glue stick here. This is pretty self-explanatory. Just take the back of the Yu-Gi-Oh card and just slather that in glue. Just coat it in glue. In fact, I'm not getting a lot of glue. I'm going to have to increase the glue output here. But yeah, you just get that on there. You know, like I said, this is repositional. So if you're quick enough, you can kind of just throw it on there and kind of like rearrange it so that it's about to where the dimensions that you want it. See, I made the card a little bit bigger than the Yu-Gi-Oh card there, so that it could be used as the base, but it's still not like the exact same dimensions, so it's like right in the center. That's pretty good there. Okay, so after the, you know, press that there, get the glue to set, and then do the exact same thing for the front of it. Once again, you don't really need to be seeing this part. Pretty sure you guys can figure this out. Okay, it's all glued up there. Also, by the way, a nice little bonus with this repositional glue stick is that it doesn't get the hands, like, you're going to get it on your hands a lot. It doesn't, like, get super sticky where you're like, oh, I have to, like, wash my hands or use, like, a special, like, solvent or something. Washes off really easily. In fact, I think it's washable. Yeah, it is washable. Yeah. All right, so after you got your card all laid out there, you got that. Bam, ready to go. You could just leave it like that. I tried that at first. I was like, well, maybe I could just leave it the way it is now. But, you know, the glue could always come out. You know, it's not super, you know, tough. You know, it just basically holds it in place so that when the next step, you can use your tape. So moving on to step 7, possibly 8, is when you take out your packing tape here. Oh! Want to get a decent size length. That's about good. I mean, this is like just, you're going to have to figure this out on your own, like the size of the tape that you're going to want to cut out. The most annoying part of this is when the tape, you know, rolls back in the thing and you got to, like, find the edge again. All right, so here's the deal. As you can see, this packing tape, you know, it's not the exact same width as the trading card. So you're going to have some of it that's, you know, not covered by it. So what I do instead is, you know, this uses up more tape, but whatever. I just cover half of it with one strand of tape there, you know, so there's half there. And just seal that in. Then fold that top part over. Seal that part over here. And then loop that back around. So about like half the card is covered with the tape. Press that in there. And then just use your scissors to cut off this excess tape. I also take this time to trim the edges if they're a little bit too big, like if the Yu-Gi-Oh card is sticking out or something, I'll take this point to, like, trim the edges there. Okay, so a little bit more there. Got it? Okay, so half of it is nice and shiny, and now you got to use more tape which I don't think I have to jump cut this. I think I'll actually get it. Yeah! Got it on that. It's a decent length there. Oh, that's a really decent length. So many double entendres in this video. Ah! But you see? I fucked it up. Kinda, sorta. There's a little strand of tape that got caught in there. See, this is gonna happen a lot. You're gonna get shit caught in this tape, and it's gonna end up in the freaking trading card. I was able to get that off, but as you can see here with, like, Mystery Pond, you know, I have a little piece of, hair stuck in the freaking tape, and I can't get it out. So probably do this in a clean environment. You know, I was doing most of this on my bed where my dog likes to just lay around a lot, so it's a lot of hair and shit. So probably should do this in like an actual crafting and like table or something, which I just don't have. But now to finish it off, you're just gonna want to align the tape there. Make sure it overlaps with the first piece of tape you added. You know, press it down, fold that over, same exact thing. Go on the back there. This one actually turned out okay. I was worried that this was just going to turn out like horrible, and I'd have to keep making examples over and over again until I got it right. But this actually one turned out okay. Take scissors. Same thing as before. Cut off the excess tape. Yeah. Trim the edges if necessary, if you see a little bit of, you know, the side of a card coming out. But for the most part, there you go. You're done. You got a card covered in tape. It's nice. It's durable. You don't have to worry about the cards coming unhinged from the, you know, the glue or whatever. So yeah, there's a Greed Island card. And I will be adding that into the binder. I actually made it through this tutorial video. Oh my god, I actually did stuff. That makes me feel so crafty and fun. Like I said, there's many different ways you can do these. These is by far probably not the only way. Well, it's definitely not the only way. There's even websites where you can go and like send them your designs and they'll make the trading cards for you and then just mail them to you. But I wanted something I could do at home as like a hobby, and I wanted something that I could do without like spending a lot of money on all this stuff. Even though you're still gonna spend, probably the most expensive thing you're gonna spend on is ink. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment below. I don't really make tutorial videos all that much, so I'm not gonna make this like a regular, like, comment if you want to see more of these videos, because I'm not like super crafty. I'm sure there's plenty of other videos on YouTube that'll teach you how to make trading cards that are you know, much more informative than this. But hey, no other video I saw that showed you how to make Greed Island cards, so I got the monopoly on that. Alright? But I just wanted to make sure I didn't do that. So I think I did an alright job for my first time. So thanks for watching, everybody. Tekking101 signing out. And which 3 Greed Island cards would you like to have to be able to use whenever you want? Me personally, I would like to have all of them, which is why I'm making all of them. Yeah. Okay. Well, hope you guys enjoy the video. Leave any questions and comments below. I'll try to get to them if I can. This will be Tekking101 signing out. Gain!